What's going on? It's your man Engineer Mojo back again with another car tutorial video. This one I'm going to show you how to replace a wheel stud for a Toyota Tacoma, and this is a very easy install. So as always, I like to get right into the tools you'll need, and they are: you'll need a 12mm by 1.5 thread pitch wheel stud, 12 by 1.5 threading nut that's open. That way you can thread the wheel stud through the nut. And you also need a bigger size nut that will go against the bearing surface of your wheel hub. You can pick any size that's bigger than the 12mm nut, just as long as this nut can bear on this nut. So make so it's big enough but not too big that this nut just goes through. Two 8mm by 1.25 thread pitch bolts, 13mm socket for those 8mm bolts most likely. And last but not least, you'll need a hammer to hammer out the old broken wheel stud. First thing we're going to do is remove the wheel. Next step that we're going to do is remove the drum brake cover. That's where the two 8mm bolts come into play. We're going to thread these into these two holes right here. There's one here, there's one here. You see these two offset holes? We're going to thread those in. Now we're going to tighten them to loosen the drum brake cover. Here's a close-up of how that looks threaded in. And you can just alternate between the two. Tighten a little bit and then go back to the other one. Tighten. You'll start to hear it pop and loosen. And now your drum brake cover is released. Now you have full access to the wheel studs. As you can see, this is the culprit wheel stud. It's corroded. I tried to retap it, it wasn't working, couldn't rethread it, so now it's time for removal. This is where you take your hammer and you just hammer it out. And it's out. Quick pro tip, I always put a towel underneath the wheel when I'm doing this type of work. There's a lot of brake dust and debris that will fall and kind of saves you from having to sweep. So, quick tip. The next step is putting the new wheel stud in. Installation is the opposite of removal. You just want to thread it from the back of the wheel hub and put it right in. This is where the bigger hex nut comes into play. So what you want to do from here is take the larger hex nut that you purchased, slide it over the wheel stud like so. Now you have a bearing surface for the actual wheel stud thread that's correct. So you just want to thread that on there. Now from here, I'll take my impact gun and tighten this through. As you can see, the new wheel stud is in place. It has seated correctly on the back of the hub. The final thing I will do is I'll always go back just with a soft brush and brush off all the studs. That way any kind of dust or foreign debris is removed from the studs. That way when you reinstall your lug nuts, it's less of a chance that you're going to mess up the threads of your existing. It would be pretty unlucky if you went back and ruined another thread when you just finished this job. So it's a quick tip. Soft brush, you're good to go. Hopefully that tutorial was good for you all. Hope you picked up some good tips and tricks to be able to do the wheel stud replacement as efficiently as possible. If you liked the video, please like, please comment, please share. Please also comment on any tips that you have for me or for other people watching the video to make this job easier. As always, I like learning from my videos just as much as I like teaching from my videos. Thanks for watching. I appreciate every view. I'm out.